3 months after abandoning our citizens, airfields, military equipment, and dignity in Afghanistan, the Biden administration is finally conducting a probe into how it all went so wrong. A few hundred Americans were reportedly still trapped there last month. One of them made it out. He's with me tonight. Joining me, Republican California Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member Darrell Issa is back, and the U.S. citizen he helped get out of Afghanistan. There he is. We finally get to see his face. I called him Jeff. His real name is Prince Wafa. It's so nice to see you, Prince Wafa. You too, Congressman Issa. Welcome both, gentlemen. So, Prince Wafa, tell me, how did you get out, and how did Congressman Issa help you?
Thank you so much for having me here, Kennedy. Yeah. I wasn't thinking I would be here one day. So everything from the beginning wasn't fun at all. Scary in some points. And when I reached out, so I reached out before to a few congressmen in the area. To be honest, I wasn't hearing anything back from them, and finally reached out with the help of some veterans to Congressman Issa, and they were in contact with me in daily basis.
That's right.
Every day from their office until we finally got out of Afghanistan with his help. Really appreciate it.
One of the last decent people in government, Congressman Issa. So tell me about this DOD probe. They're doing an after-action report. What are you expecting? How we don't even know who's conducting the report, how long it's going to take, how deep they're going to go, if they're going to do a real important examination. What are you expecting?
Well, I expect it to be as thorough as the first State Department investigation of Benghazi. In other words, I don't expect a lot from it. Ultimately, the commander-in-chief made a bad decision, then made false statements, had his staff make false statements, and now they're throwing it on the backs of the military. This was not a military mistake. The president made the decision, the State Department had the lead, DOD did the job they were told to do, including evacuating in the middle of the night from Bagram Airfield. Those are decisions that are not going to change just because they're, quote, doing an investigation.
And those are also things that voters aren't going to forget come the midterms. It's one of those issues that still resonates with voters. They're really upset at how so many Americans were abandoned and then blamed for not being able to get out of a country that fell apart when the administration should have seen the implosion coming as rapidly as it did. Now, Prince, what are you hearing about the state in Afghanistan now? We're hearing that there is mass starvation and people suffering.
Yes, so I'm still in contact with a few U.S. citizens that are still in Afghanistan, a few green card holders that are primary residents. They are desperately asking for help, and I already sent a few of those to the Congressman Issa office, and also a group called Until Forces. They are the veterans that they are helping those people to get out. So everything is not organized there. It seems like you don't know what's happening. Like after like 13 flights out of Afghanistan, I was on the last one basically there, and there were only 3 American citizens in the plane out of like 250 people out there, and we had literally 40 to 50 empty seats on that plane. That could be 50 more Americans sitting there, or 50 more of our green card holders there. Seems like there's lack of communication or coordination between the agencies to who's calling in. And when I got to Qatar, they called me 2 days after that there's a flight from Kabul to Qatar and you're on the list from the State Department. I was like, I'm already in Qatar. That call could go to someone that's really need to get out.
Yeah, great coordination, guys. So, Congressman, is your office still working with Americans there, even people outside of your constituency?
We are. We have about 60 cases, about twice that many in the number of people, and many of them are like Prince Wafa, an American or a green card holder with a wife or a husband that they won't leave without. And you might remember early on the administration said there were only less than 200, actually said 100,
yes.
That wanted to leave. And of course, they did not consider Prince Wafa as wanting to leave because he wasn't willing to leave without his wife. And you know, when Prince Wafa just gave you those numbers from his own flight out of Qatar, the reason there were 40 empty seats is the State Department did not give the government in Doha names to put on that flight. They are cooperating with the United States government. They're asking that they government give them the names to manifest. If they're manifested, they'll be boarded. But the bureaucracy that's building up in this process is incredible, particularly considering Prince Wafa and his wife, they felt the jet thrust blowing back against their faces as tens of thousands of Afghans left that had not served the American people, had not been given SIV status, had not become Americans, and yet they were on those planes early on, and now there are Americans still trapped there.
Yeah, that is so immoral, and it is such an embarrassment for this administration, and they have not properly answered for any of it. They just want to pat themselves on the back for the sheer number of people who got out, but it wasn't the people who helped U.S. forces, it wasn't the people who have obtained green card status or American citizens like Prince Wafa. And thank God Princess Wafa was also able to make it out of the country. Prince and Congressman Issa, thank you so much.